All right, everybody, 5.1 notes. And I do realize this looks about as much fun as the Holy Bible in Latin, reading it. All right, just like way it is. So, hey, look, this document, you're going to have to type this up as we're going along here just to follow along. Once you're done typing it up, you can hit share and share it with JSOAR at correct.org. So, yeah, this is lesson for chapter 5.1. Food depends on soil, straight up. So, like, yeah, you can eat a hamburger, but how did that cow grow? Because it ate plants. And you get plants unless you get good soil. So, kind of need soil. Mucho importante. Soil is made up of like dirt, rocks, decomposed bodies of animals and plants. So, like, yeah, leaves, they decompose, they break down into the soil, they get that soil good. Same thing with plants, actually. Native Americans used to bury fish bones right underneath corn. It used to make corn grow tall. Water, air, elements, and minerals as well are in soil. Elements are like periodic table of elements. You might have studied that way back in the day. Horizons because when you dig into soil, it's like a layer of a cake. You could have like the first two layers of a cake where it's like, okay, that's where the cake part is. And you get a layer of like, yummy chocolatey like goodness. And then you get like cake and then you get a frosting on top. So you get those layers. They do the same thing for soil. They call them horizons. So it's almost like a side view of it. What happens is organics leach down, but minerals move up. So like as stuff dies, it decomposes, it goes down into the soil. As it but over time, a lot of those minerals start coming back up to the soil. Um, Top layer is organic, rich for farming. All right. I don't want to say that the bottom is poor. It's just poor for farming. The bottom is more inorganic materials, just more like the stuff you need for like oil. Coal is way down usually. You got to mine for it. So, translocation is carrying particles up or down by water, H2O. So, yep. Topsoil evaporation pulls groundwater up, but it also moves the minerals up too. So if you're in a desert situation, like what's going to happen is it's going to suck out that water from the ground towards the top where it's going to evaporate. So desert climate just tend to, you know, not have great soil because of that. Salination is a translocation up through irrigation. So farmers, they go like this with the water. They go, and they just suck up all the water from the ground and they go and sprinkle it all around. Problem is, by sucking up all that water, it also kind of like can leave the soil kind of dry and salty. So, and obviously it's not good for crops. So everything in moderation. Leaching is the exact opposite. Leaching is where snow melts, and as it melts, it gradually puts water back into the soil. That's why snow is so good for farms. All right. These are the different level layers they got, or horizons. The O horizon is the uppermost layer, organic and decomposers. That's like that topsoil. That's going to have the worms in it. It's going to have like the dead leaves. It's going to be that dark, rich soil. It's going to be great for growing stuff. Love it, right? The A horizon is the partially decomposed organics. This is like your roots that soak up nutrients. All right. So this one here, it's the layer right underneath the topsoil. Yeah, it's not as good as the topsoil usually, but yeah, it still has some good stuff. A good spot for roots. All right. One thing is, in some areas of the world, there's this stuff that grows called peat. Peat. It's like moss. It's got lots of water content, but few decomposers. So it's just like this soggy bogginess. The cool thing is you can actually chop out of the ground and bring up these logs that they use for burning, for like heating houses and for cooking. The only problem is burning peat, major source of carbon off into the atmosphere. No buenos. So the B horizon deposits from the A horizon. So that's just like the stuff from the A horizon goes down. The C horizon is weathered rock, and that's just like rock that's been worn down over time. Sorry, I'm getting my like dinner out of the oven here. too. Then you got the R horizon, which is the bedrock. Bedrock is usually what you want to build on if you've got like a skyscraper, just the way it is, because you want to make sure that skyscraper does not move. All right. So yeah, that's the the how, and the why with that. Not all soils have all horizons, so you could be missing some. If you're off in the Middle East, you might not exactly have a great O horizon. All right, you might not have a C horizon. Just the way it is. Sand increases drainage, so if you got sandy soil, the water will go right through it. Pretty cool. That can be a little bit of sand is good for farming. Too much, no bueno. Silt holds sand and clay together. Clay retains water plus nutrients, but increase acidity. So a little bit of, I'm sorry, that's for the clay. So plants need some acidity, but too much is toxic. It's kind of like when you're around your relatives too much. Hey, meet at the family reunion. Pretty good. Everything going good. But sometimes those uncles and aunts are a little too acidic and they get just a little too toxic. So everything in moderation. Yep, plants need some permeability, how easy liquids and gases go through. They use this quite a bit for sports teams too. If your sport team cannot stop the other team from doing what they want, they're considered permeable. My Patriots, right now, their defense is looking pretty permeable, meaning the other team is going to go right through them. All right. Porosity is the space between particles. It's kind of like social distancing for us. If we were like particles, I'd want 6 feet between us. All right. Acid rain acidifies soil, increases iron and aluminum concentration. Aluminum is not good for you, so you really don't want that in the soil. Iron, too much iron can be a problem too for growing plants. Fertile soil is non-renewable. It takes a long time to become fertile. If you don't take care of the soil and it goes non-fertile, it takes a while to get back. Major nutrients that soil needs to be fertile are nitrates, phosphates, potassium. You'll hear them called like NPK quite a bit, just abbreviated to make it sound cool. These nutrients can go because they've either leached or over harvested. So if you're farming too much, it's going to take those right out of there. All right. Also, too, if there's just been too much rain or whatnot, they can just get leached right out of the soil. So that can be a problem. The way we replace them is through fertilizers, specifically chemical fertilizers. Not sure it's like great. You got to be careful about this because anything that's grown in a lab, I got opinions on it. You might too. All right. You can grow legumes, which are a plant. That'll help replace the soil with like those good nutrients. Also, crop rotation across the school. They've got this field. They might grow tobacco there one year, then corn the next. Who knows? After that, they might grow like a vegetable. All right. And then just let it go to hay, and they'll just use the hay and sell it to farmers that have cows. So yeah. So you see there's like, and then they'll go back to tobacco. So they'll rotate that crop through. The other thing is organic matter. You can spread onto fields to keep them fertile. Manure and compost. Compost is like your vegetable debris that just breaks down over time and you keep a pile of it. We have one at school, actually, a compost pile, which is pretty cool. Manure is, well, that one you might have to look up because like, I just find in life, it's real important to know your crap. Okay. So, yeah, like that's what we got right now. I'd love for it if you could type these out for me. Might have to pause the video right here. Type these out, hit share to JSOAR@crec.org. My best. Bye.